Hello and welcome to the secret history living in your aquarium. How's it going, guys? I am happy to see y'all. Welcome to the chat. Looks like some of you got here early and often, so holy cow, you guys have a lot to talk about. Fish Tropic, what is up? You are the first in the door like an hour ago. What dedication. Saying smash that thumbs. We have 15 people in here the second it opens. No, now we have 13. I guess people are leaving. I suck. And 15 thumbs up. So way to go, guys. That lifts my heart. Kimberly Logger, hello. Sunny Doan, Neil White, your average white band. No, average fish keeper. Adam Schrontz. Let's see here. Desperado 70. Here, fishy. Here, fishy, fishy, fishy. Let's see here. Who else has wandered in the door? Step right up. Walk right in. Mama, let your hair hang low. Jennifer, hello. If a male guppy is fully cut. Whoa, focus. Focus. If a male guppy is fully colored up, does that mean he's old enough to breed? Oh, yeah. Usually, if a male guppy has any coloration, it means he's old enough to breed. Sometimes even before that. Let's see. Muppet, what is going on? Alan Bowler, what is going on? Anyone want to put money on him not going on a tangent? Yeah, I wouldn't take that bet. Oh, thanks for the faith, average fish keeper. Jackson Tax, hello. Kimberly, hello. Aquaballs, hello. And Kate Batista, what is that? Batista, yes. Yeah, so I'm giving away 100. Whoa, focus. Hold on, I think there might be something on the lens. Let me handle this. Maybe that's better. Maybe this will be better. Let's try this. Maybe. We'll see what happens. But basically, yeah, we're giving away $100. I entered anybody who was in the last live stream because I'm sneaky. And I didn't say I was going to do that, but I can always add people to a giveaway. I just can't take away people from giveaways. And I know who the winner is, by the way. Jackson Tax, getting more coffee soon. Need a Slurpee. Yeah, Drench Aquatics, hello. You drink Dr. Pepper with me? That's pretty awesome. You guys, if we could get, like, the Die Hard Club that is going to actually join me on the debauchery. I mean, now that I leave a now that I leave a clean and sober life, lead a clean and sober life, Dr. Pepper's where it's at. It's not a tangent. Okay, Kimberly. Let's see here. You guys are talkative today. All right, getting right to it. So, what is up? Aqua Balls yelling my name. Pete, what is going on down under? How you doing, my brother? Mate. Fake name, what's going on up north? The Yeti, Aqua Balls. Man, we got so many people in here. Liam, how's it going? Chevy Fish. Chevy is saying hello to everyone. Jerry Serpel Morris, hello. Cindy 425, good to see you too. I hope you're doing well. It's cooled down a bit around us, huh? So that feels nice. Two fish in a tank. One says to the other one, hey, do you know who's... Wait. Hey, do you know how to drive this thing? Okay. Mark answered. Bobcats Reef, welcome. Is there anybody else that I just feel like Isabel Chaussee, hello, and Cichlids23. So the person who won is not in here at the moment, but I know how to get a hold of that person because I just talked to them. So I'm gonna let's break the suspense. So I did decide that from now on, when I get random giveaway money from a sponsor, so like Aquatic Arts, if I get $100 gift certificate that I can give away, or I can split into $25 gift certificate, whatever it may be. So basically, if I'm getting sent money to buy more fish or something like that, I'm trying to push it onto you guys more right now, because I'm full to the brim, unless I move fish out, sell fish, and swap things around. So I would much rather see you guys happy and give it forward right now. And I told Aquatic Arts as much right now. So I have a $100 gift certificate. You know, this month we've given away $100, three $50 gift certificates, and five $25 gift certificates already. And I think I've still got another 25 randomly. And there's somebody who hasn't contacted me yet, but I told folks basically, if you were nice, that you would actually, like, if I caught you being nice to people, that I may be giving away gift cards. And somebody answered a question really thoroughly, and then they also on another post was like, you know what, if I win, give it to somebody else. I don't need it. I'm doing fine in this time of COVID. So I couldn't help myself. That was really kind, and I gave them $25 anyways towards their next purchase. So stuff like that I really want to encourage, because I love what a positive and forward-thinking community this has grown to be. Both the Patreon, the people who watch the live streams, you guys know who you are, the ones who stick around and pop in and stuff like that. You don't need to do anything to enter this one, but I will be doing another one next month. And my hope is to do at least $50 giveaway every month. If you guys keep buying stuff from Aquatic Arts with the codes that I have, that shouldn't be a problem. Also, I have a new code from Brine Shrimp Direct that should get us, I think it's like 10 or 20% off. I'll post it in the next video. But Meredith, a friend who owns Cahaba Aquatics down in Alabama, she let me know that enough people have been referred or whatever. They said, "Where'd you hear about us from?" And oh, Alex again. So they said we could have a discount code. So I'm all for that. On some of these deals, they set it up where I can make like 1% or 2%. I think the highest affiliate deal is usually 4% that somebody makes. But basically, I'd rather take that money and put it into a gift card, because, yeah, I'd have to pay taxes on it. They take a cut. There's a processing fee, yada, yada. If they could just write a check for that same $100, it goes a lot farther if I can just give it to you guys. So that's it. I mean, if we start talking about some crazy money here, I'll obviously show you guys what's going on and be like, whoa, you guys, we're kicking butt. Like, you guys have ordered $10 million worth of stuff. And, now I'm getting a cut that's $1,000 a month. If it were anything like that, I would obviously come to you guys and see what you want to do, because it's kind of a democracy on this channel to some degree. As long as it's logical, to me, it's a democracy. So, a benevolent dictatorship that takes input from the peons. That's you. So, how is everybody doing today? We all feeling good? Because the winner is somebody who was in my Patreon. And it is somebody who's new to my Patreon, but somebody who's actually jumped into our community on this channel and on Facebook pretty heavily, which is cool. The way I weighted the drawing is basically everybody got a selection. I looked at who was in the last live chat, last live stream, and then I put those names down. And then if they were also on my Patreon, I either stacked their names so it was one entry, or it didn't really matter. I just added them to the pile, and did a drawing out of a number. So there were 400 and some people who watched live throughout the scope of an hour and a half last live stream. And that means that with that and then the 26 people on Patreon, that it was like, 450 or some people. But for everybody on Patreon, I gave them the number of drawings that they had donated money so far. So there is incentive for the higher level backers to have a higher chance to win, but also one, you didn't have to pay to play, and two, the entry, the entry into it is $1 if you want to do this in the future. I can't promise yet, but I'm like 99% to a promise that at least we can do this again for like $50 every month. That's the hope. And the more you guys support the Patreon, the more I can give back, because I'll just take money out of the Patreon, obviously. And they take a cut of what people give, and then they take there's a 3% transfer fee. So I think, and then taxes are 15% plus 27%. That's what it comes out for an independent business owner in my state, and Fed in state. So it ends up being like a 40%, like 50% of the Patreon money kind of disappears. And it's pretty true with even more so technically with super chats, but also I always appreciate that. So thank you. I don't mean to say like don't do super chats. That would be silly. But I know people who've done higher level super chats. They definitely dig doing it on Patreon or on PayPal or Venmo or something, because just a higher percentage can get to me basically. Even if then I have to report it to taxes, at least there aren't two other middlemen. But in any case, enough about that. That was some logistical stuff I wanted to talk about while people filtered in. And, now everybody who was watching who doesn't know what to expect probably left if they're watching this replay. So, the winner is Jack Blackman won a $100 gift card to aquaticarts.com, and he's got several tanks set up, some shrimp tanks, and he's been posting on Facebook and showing us what he's working on. And then he's also been he's asked me questions. He's a supporter, and one of the perks, a lot of you guys don't take advantage of the perks, is like, if you want a fish on my channel to have a name or your name, let me know if you're in that tier of supporting the channel. Also, same with the artwork. If you're at that level of supporter and you want your fish illustrated, let me know. And we'll put it on t-shirts and stuff too if you want. Also, the other part is, if you want a subject of a video covered, I take suggestions from everyone, but if a Patreon person asks, it's almost 100% going to get done in the next week or two, that subject. So just wanted to kind of explain some of the perks of the Patreon stuff right now. And I think that, like, voting on topics and all that kind of stuff, even if you are supporting $1, you are part of the community. Even if you're not on Patreon, you're part of the community, but I can only get as much feedback as I see in the comments and through the live stream. So your word counts, but it's not weighted as much as on Patreon. I get an email and I get a ding ding ding, and then I see it in the app, and then I see your name again, and I'm like, oh, that's right. So just thought to throw that out there. And so yeah, that's what's going on. I just would like to do some sort of giveaway. I might have to check into the legality part of that, but it might end up being like, okay, tell me what fish you want, and then I'll get them to send you that fish or whatever. But yeah, so once again, we're going to do it at the 15-minute mark so I can mark it in the description if need be. But Jack Blackman is the winner of this week's, I guess. I don't know, I've been giving away money all month. $100 gift certificate to Aquatic Arts. So cheers to you, buddy. I hope that gives you something cool, and I hope you continue to share with us the stuff that you do with the money. So, Desperado. Okay, guys, so what would you like to talk about, see, do, hear, feel, experience, ASMR, tonight on this live stream? You guys, stop me from my tangents, or else. So, I feel like I did a complete crap. I did a rubbish job of answering your questions the other night. So, fire them on up if you guys have questions about your plants, your fish. Oh, you know what? Come here. You look so stinking adorable. Hold on, guys. Look at my adorable wife who just came in. She looks like frickin' Jackie or something with her little... Are those the new glasses?
I just bought them today.
They're huge.
I know.
I thought you were going to get some other weird ones.
This is just sunglasses. Those are real glasses.
Oh, these are fake. These are imaginary.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys like my wife's imaginary glasses? Look how cute she is. I dressed up for the occasion, honey. I got a cut off tuxedo. Well, it's not even a tuxedo. It's like a... Well, it's not. It's a t-shirt, I guess I should say, first of all. Okay. Well, welcome home, honey. Are you going to do running? Are you going running? All right. I love you. I'll see you later. All right. Back to my second wife, YouTube. How is everybody doing? All right. Did I miss something? You want some real secret history stuff? All right. You want to know a cool secret? I almost did an episode on the Nazis and basically terrible people and experiments that have involved fish. So Stalin, MK Ultra in the US, how we sent a bunch of fish into space and into the upper atmosphere on balloons, knowing they would die, just kind of to do it, I guess. I don't know. Some of the experiments were downright just like, oh, I don't know what like there was no hypothesis given that made any sense. It might have been something secret. I don't know. It's all redacted stuff that came out. But I thought about doing that because whether it's the Chinese or drug companies or big evil empires, whatever it may be, there is a lot of use of fish and science on fish, specifically Medaka rice fish and guppies for genetics. Medaka rice fish because their life is very quick. The killifish African varieties that live about 3 months, that mature in a week, just because they can get so many generations so quickly to see if something like heavy metals are building up or there's chromosome damage from something. And then the most used fish by far is the zebra danio, or the zebra fish, as the Brits would say, which is just our danio. You've seen the longfin zebra danios, the leopard danios. They're the same species. Well, there's also leopardi, or leopardi. That doesn't sound right though. In Latin, danio. So I just turned off the power head here. Everything's literally slowing down to a halt as we speak. What else is new? I mean, you guys saw these guys the last live stream, but kind of some bad news. So these are the smallest stinking panda loaches that I've ever gotten by far. Now, I only paid $6 each for them, which some of you might think, well, that's a lot of money for a fish that's not even as long as my pinky nail is wide. But they're so small. that I don't know what they're eating. They're definitely not eating anything I give them, and so I think they're eating just biofilm, and I hope they're okay. But literally, that sponge filter from Aquarium Co-op, which can suck in duckweed, I guess, sucked in 2 of them last night. So I turned the air way down, but they died. And I mean, look how teeny these guys are. They're so like petite, but they'll get up to 2 inches or an inch and a half, and then they get kind of this cross hatching pattern. But I hope they make it. I'm a little worried. I've never had a problem like that. The water is like to a T. It is set up the way that it should be for them, for their happiness. I almost put them in this Hillstream Loach tank with the gobies, the Stiphodons, but Stiphodons like a lot softer water. Oh my gosh, look at all the baby trumpet snails. Malaysian trumpet snail alert. Anybody need some Malaysian trumpet snails? I got millions of them apparently. So yeah, but the Stiphodon tank is a lot. The water has nothing in it essentially, and so down in the panda guppy tank or panda, I keep saying that panda loach tank, they have a TDS which is actually pretty hard, and they have a pH of around 8 rather than 6.5 or 7. Also, I don't know if I showed these to you guys, but I've got the African 9-banded barbs or African nano-banded barbs. So those are chilling. One looks like, this one here, looks like it's got a pretty sunken in stomach. So it's either a female that recently laid eggs, or it's got some sort of worm or parasite, which is okay because this tank in general needs to be treated with like fenbendazole or some sort of thing like that, or levamisole. Okay, back to the questions, and we get to the questions. Jack Blackman, are you here or not, sir? Because you won $100. $100 billion. Another real secret history. Real secret history. Rabbits. I know that's not fish. We'll get to fish in a sec. But they used to take women's urine when they suspected that they were pregnant, and they'd inject it into a rabbit. And if they cut it open and its ovaries were swollen and it had ovulated, then they knew that the woman was pregnant due to the amount of progesterone and what's the other, estrogen. And in the 1930s, they actually figured out that African clawed frogs and African dwarf frogs, the ones that dive and live in your aquarium, that if they inject them with the urine, just a little bit, 2 cc's of urine from a female human into there's a specific spot they do it. If they inject that into their body, they will lay eggs within 8 hours. So literally there used to be tanks and tanks and tanks of those fish, or frogs, sorry, of those frogs at the doctor's office, and they could do it to each frog like 50 to 100 times rather than having to kill a whole rabbit. Apparently there's slang, and if maybe you guys have heard of this, you can comment if so, but it used to be the rabbit died was slang for saying like someone got pregnant out of wedlock, or she killed the rabbit, or they killed the rabbit. Later on, hopped up the frog apparently became slang in the 1940s and 50s because the frogs would get pregnant. It was only about 15 or 16 years before they came up with a legitimate test that wasn't horribly cruel to animals and didn't require like boxes and boxes of frogs everywhere at the doctor's office. But that's some deep history, right? Okay. So somebody asked a question. I'm trying to figure out where I missed a question. Where did it go? Where is it? You guys are talking a lot and I like it. This isn't a tangent, guys. Oh, wait, everybody, Aquaballs is getting coffee. Let's just wait while Aquaballs does that. Okay, Muppet 929. There we go. That was the question I was looking for. How to tell the difference between snail eggs and cory eggs? Well, if you take them between your fingers and you squeeze them until they pop, cory eggs pop a lot. You need to put a lot more force on them. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Obviously, you don't want to kill eggs to find out what they are. These are cory eggs here. They actually laid them on the magnetic scraper. These are 2 days old. I guess, yeah, so they're 48 hours old is a better way to say that. And you can see the fish forming in there. You can see their spinal column on that front one, and you can see its eyes on the other ones, on some of the other ones. Now, they also have eggs. Where are they? On the bottom here. Let's see if I can turn it around. There's more. Let's see. There we go. There's more eggs here. And when they turn white, that means that they've gone bad. That means they've molded. And these eggs here, they have that kind of yellow color that's clear. That's a good sign. So when you're looking at those eggs versus snail eggs, you're looking for the yellow. Whereas in snails, if I can show you snail eggs up here, ram's horn snail eggs. Let's see if we can find. I think I know where there's some eggs pretty much every time I look in this damn tank. Okay, so snail eggs actually turn this off yellow color on the clear stuff in between. Sorry, that's gross because I'm kicking aside all this mulm. But, so if you look at snail eggs, within a few days, they actually discolor. They'll be off yellow like that. Here's a chunk of them literally floating down in front of us. Right there. So snail eggs will turn this off color yellow, and they look like one mat of vomited eggs in kind of a dome. Like they're kind of, let's see if we can find another example. They look like they're all laid under one blanket of, maybe down here. These don't lay a lot of eggs though in here, but they lay eggs in one solid layer, whereas the cory eggs are very definitely distinct eggs. So right here, here's some ram's horn snail eggs. And you can see one, they're nowhere near as big. If that's a baby or a mid-sized shrimp sitting next to the eggs. And there's actually some more eggs that are brand new fresh today right here. And those are ram's horn snail eggs. So you see they have that texture like eggs and everything, but they're just much smaller and they're off color yellow. And they kind of all stick in one mat, whereas the other ones you can easily roll one egg off at a time, and you'll see white, like if they've been there more than 12 hours, you'll start to see white, little white pieces of the eggs, and that's the ones that mold. And that's common. Most mold a little bit, like a few. Most hatches have a few that mold. Also, I decided to move them up here, but these are the Battis, the Scarlet Battis. My last Scarlet Battis male, he passed away, and I sold too many of them, and then I was down to one male, and I figured that with one male and a harem of 3 or 4 females, that one of the females would flip to male if the male died. But it didn't happen. But the last place I had put them was down there, and literally just now, so 6 months after the fact of me putting them in there when he was all healthy, they had these little tiny fry that are so tiny, like I can only get them with the turkey baster. And yeah, also the green jade shrimp, they had some babies. These are really teeny, but they're kind of like an off yellow snotty color in there. But I keep I keep different lines, as you know. If you know how I work, I keep different lines from different species or strains together when they're young, and then I'm just OCD enough that I go through the tank daily multiple times doing things. Here is the by the way, the progress on the Malawa shrimp tank that I'm trying to select for as blues, like sky blue. So they're coming along really well too. I've been selecting for sky blue and for rust out of them. So yeah, all right, let's get to the next question. Uh, Jackson Tax says I need to get together with you and get some kabamba. Yeah, I could help you with that problem. I actually just cut a bunch of kabamba and gave it away. Here, Fishy says hit that like button. Um, Whoa, Howlin' Ballard, thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. Buy that good-looking woman something. Thank you. That is too kind. I really will. I will. I'll have to go get her some. You know, she's been on a diet and a workout plan to avoid the COVID 15 or whatever the heck they're calling it. Uh, and I have not. I've just gotten fat, and we don't have kids, so I feel like I have no excuse. I'm just like, oh, it's all the stress from the fish. I swear. Um, so, man, more power to her. Like I've been trying to be supportive, but I am not going and jogging stairs when it's 80 degrees out. And you know, she worked all day. I worked from home. She's working in an office. So I have an amazing wife. So yes, thank you very much. And you know what? I will set that aside, and I will give that to her in some way or another. I'll get her something. The Novice Aquarius. Oh yeah, I have a whole episode on cichlids that can go in a 10-gallon actually. Isabel Chassé, Alex, I have lots of earthworms in my shrimp tanks. I think it's camera with some moss I bought. No planaria. Doesn't work. What would you do? Uh, I think I'm having a translation issue, Isabel. If you can ask me in French, I might be able to decipher that a little better. I think we're having lost in translation problems. But I think you're saying you have some sort of worms. They're not earthworms like we say. I think you're saying you have detritus worms, and it came in on the moss, maybe? And that you've tried anti-planaria food, or anti-planaria medicine, and you want to know what I do. So, basically, I would say, if that's the question, sorry guys, if that's the question, I would say that I would definitely. I mean, there's other anti-planaria stuff out there. You can get things like fenbenzol or uh, let's see. I guess there's Metroplex, and then there's. I mean, you can just get at the pet store. A lot of times, you can get cat dewormer. It's a little pricey, but there's lots of things online about what to mix, how much, and what it does is it dehydrates I think they're the glucose cells in the actual worms or planaria or nematodes, and that causes them to die. Now, too much, it'll do the same thing in shrimp, but at a low dose, it'll just do it enough to kill, you know, I can't think of the word. I guess they're not invertebrates. They don't even have any spine, but you know, little critters, nematodes and stuff. If they're detritus worms, honestly, you could do nothing other than just keep their food cleaner. If you don't have a little glass dish, put their food in a little glass dish, and then just use a turkey baster or a gravel vac or whatever works for you, and just suck up what's left after an hour or so, or 2 hours of them working on the food. Yeah, my wife does look a lot different right now. She finally got her hair done again. You know, we've been stuck at home, and our area opened up for being able to go out into the world again. So, um, Cichlid 23 Project Blue Book. No, I don't believe that. Okay, moving on. Let's see here. What's up, unsophisticated? Mickey M, hello. Lisa Perez. All right, let me see if there's any. Was the sponge too coarse that killed the panda loaches? Yes, most definitely. And I've also noticed that it can suck up and kill some of my baby shrimp. I know Corey says he likes that because it's easier to clean, I guess. But that's my one problem with the Aquarium Co-op branded filter. I love the weight of it. I love that you can put the air stone in the center, and you know, it's sturdy and everything. But yeah, it's such a coarse mesh, like the coarsest you could get almost, to the point where you can lose a whole fish into it. Other meshes I've seen are coarse, but they're not coarse like that. They're coarse. Trying to see if this tank has one that's comparable. You know, so I mean, like a dinner sponge would be a better material. So I might even rip that off or take that out of that tank. I'm afraid it's no good for. I mean, especially if I had like little pseudomagills or anything like that, they'd be dead in no time hanging out the way they do. Luckily, the panda loaches can suck on with their mouth and then kind of walk their way back usually. But yeah, it definitely kind of sucked the couple in and killed them. You didn't know there was a demand for Malaysian trumpet snails? There's not. Not here, anyways. Usually ramshorn snails, there's a slight demand for whoever has pufferfish in the area. Oh, is fluorite too rough for cory cats? So that's another good question. A lot of people have this misconception that cory cats, and I think it's because seriouslyfish.com has put it out there that cory cats need sand and or like flat glass bottoms, or that they will have problems, that they'll rough up their barbels, they'll get infected, and then they'll die, and everything dies in your tank afterwards. Whoa, look at this. Whatever's eating this algae, can you guys see this? Made a great little pattern. I think it's a right snail. But in any case, yeah, so that's not true really. If your if your if your critters are already stressed out, if your cories are already having some trouble, and you don't see them a lot, like they're hiding a lot, then I guess there's a chance. Or if they aren't getting any food, like if they're getting really over competed, then they'll really dig for that food if they have to. But as long as they get enough food to not be hungry, which I do by feeding, you know, like in this tank, we've got a lot. And I know, yes, there's a bit of algae, but it's because of all these babies here. And yes, I know, a month ago, these guys had babies like crazy too, and then decided to eat them all. And I don't know what to do. I don't have the space to grow them out separately right now. So, I wish someone locally would take them. I put a post requesting that if someone wants to take them, they can take like whatever 75% of the fry if they want to raise them, and I just like some back just to see what the babies look like. But in any case, but yeah, no, quarries will actually be okay. Fluorite's fine. Lava rock is the one exception that I've found that I have seen it really messing up their barbels. But really, they'll be pretty careful. Usually, they're pretty gentle little guys. There are a few cories that are different than others, and will like kind of go hard, like brocus or brochus. Sometimes they're a little more intense. Stir-by cories sometimes are a little more intense. But, I mean, it's kind of a fish by fish thing. Also, I've got, so look at all the peacock gudgeons in here now. So somebody hit me up, and I went from having one male gudgeon to they sent me three females that I bought from Aquatic Arts last month to two people saying they had males that needed homes. So now I've got six gudgeons in here, peacock gudgeons, that are all hanging out. And I really, really can't wait till we get a new place because they're really fun to hatch, to watch them hatch. Like, they may spawn in this tank just fine, and if they pair off, I'll snag a pair and grab them out of here. But what they like is, I'll actually, it's a trick, but I take like a highlighter pen, like highlighter brand, or the oversized Sharpies, and you pull the ink out, pull everything out of it, so it's just a hollow tube. Or you could get some 1/2 inch piping, or maybe like 3/5 inch piping, and you just put that right into the substrate or right into a rock wall. Look how fat and chunky this betta is. You are a chunkster. Um, but yeah, they absolutely love that. So, yeah. Oh, a reminder too. If you guys are doing an aquascape for the aquascape competition, you should get on that if you haven't started yet. But this is my little aquascape, and I'm not going to tell you my motivation yet, my inspirational picture, um, but I can assure you there is one. And right now this is a little janky, but it's in the window also at night, so it's okay. You can see it's already growing algae in 2 weeks, so that tells me that it's getting enough sunlight and it's got plenty of nutrition and ferts. Also, I put the green jade shrimp in here, if you can see them. It's kind of hard to see. It's so bright, all the reflections today, guys. Sorry. But there's green jade shrimp in here. You'll just have to take my word for it. And then there are some Medaka pearl scale rice fish. Now, the Medakas from Aquatic Arts, I want to warn people that Medakas are not supposed to be a warm water fish. That is a well-known fact. But these ones really seem to take it hard. I'm gonna say I messed up. That's how we'll say it. But I lost, of the six orange Medakas that I bought, I lost some of them. I lost three of them, I think, to temperature upstairs. Every other parameter of the water's fine. Okay, so through the nasty algae, you for a second you got a picture of one of the green jade shrimp. So I'll need to do a water change here first. Also, thought I'd mention this little filter that I worked on that some of you guys were asking about. Some people were saying that's not going to work at all. It works really well. It works really well, and it is very gentle, and then two, it actually does agitate. It's got almost like a harmonic because of the motor here rate. So I like that more than I like the air pump, honestly. I have a little more dwarf hairgrass that I can plant in here. My goal was to try to get a carpet going, but it might have been too ambitious to get that going in 4 weeks. But we'll be giving away a signed copy of the amazing book on plants. Oh, by the way, too, this lower shelf, I decided, in here we've got some elastomas, and then this lower shelf perfectly fits three 2.5s. So my wife doesn't know about this yet, and I just put a light under there over all of them. But I'm gonna get one more 2.5, and 2.5s are $15 or $20 at the store because they're handmade in America, and so are 5.5 gallons. Whereas all the larger tanks are not necessarily handmade in America; they're made overseas, and they are assembled on an assembly line that is low paid and then imported. And so right now there's a shortage of 5.5 gallon tanks and 2.5 gallon tanks, just so you know. Also, the other news, if you live in the Seattle area, definitely hit up the fish store. It's the oldest aquarium supply store in the Northwest. One of the older ones on the West Coast that's been continually running, but they're having their 50th anniversary sale for freshwater fish as a freshwater fish store the rest of this month. So all through the end of this month, and it's 50% off all their fish, and he priced everything really low as it is. That's how I got the $6 panda loaches, $2 Medaka rice fish, $2 cherry shrimp, $3 blue velvet shrimp. So if you're in the Seattle area, stop in, say hi to the owner Dan, tell him I sent you, and support local. He's kind of doing it almost. I mean, he's making, I think, 10% profit on most things, but he's really just wants to kind of give back to the community, and he buys a lot of his fish from the community anyways, so I like to support stores that are like that. Okay, let's see here. Tom Patterson, hello. Do I have African bulbitis fern? Oh yeah. It's chilling right where I felt it a second ago. Right. Oh wait, you guys aren't even turned the right way and now my hand's wet. Hold on. Alright. Here we go. Here's part of it. There's a whole bunch of it growing back there. And then my upstairs has just a boatload of it. And then also, right here has boatloads of mini bulbitis hedulata from Africa. And then this is Asiatic bulbitis. And it's the one that's fully actually aquatic. There's another one that's not. Why did I get those little tanks? The little 2.5 gallons. And isn't it way harder to keep the chemistry stable in a tank that small? Yes, it is. It is a headache. But I can also get the pH down to like 4 if I want to try to spawn these Samfong Rasboras again, which I've only got 6 of them right now. I sold 18 of them. And so I've been on a selling spree just to kind of raise money for new fish room stuff when hopefully if we do get a new house and move. And then also just paying bills kind of stuff. You know, life. Okay. Chevy Fish, you remember the rabbit died. Sorry, I know that's really delayed now probably. Oh yeah. I'm so far behind on the questions. Yes, these are for Mickey M. They are Orzias lapsis rice fish in there. I'm gonna hop down to the current questions. So I see. Let's see. I see the Zen Ginger. Hello, a muse in the craft room. I like that name. Zenny Ginger. Okay, so you guys are gonna have to re-ask questions, please. Anything after gosh dang it. Sorry guys, I'm having technical difficulties. Go away. Okay, what was I? Oh, Alex, try padding. Do you Oh, what type of padding do I use between my metal stands and tanks? So honestly, as long as they have a good rim, and they have a lot of tines, bars, whatever, I usually do a layer of cardboard and a layer of felt blanket or felt material. And then, yeah, and then I let the cardboard hang over because it can get wet. And then usually, if you notice how I have this tank set back this far, this tank set back this far, this tank set back this far. So that way, if there's a leak from the top or overflow or splash, it all drips down, and then the bottom one's all the way out. So it all drips down, hopefully going into another tank if it comes out the front. Now, I am in an earthquake-prone area. We've talked about this. The floor actually slopes back slightly, and this needs to be redone. All this wiring, obviously. It's technically skookum, but not really. There's those pretty barbs. Look at them. Along with they look great with the endlers. So, and believe it or not, that's a glass bottom tank. Sorry, it's a glass bottom tank, and everything is floating in here. And they're finally getting that red tail that I wanted. That was the goal. So yeah, ask me questions again, guys. I'm sorry. There's so much that's been said. Any recommendation? Sakana Katana says, any recommendations for breeding and raising beginning egg scatterers? Yeah, totally. I would go to my video that's called Celestial Pearl Danios or Erythromicron Emerald Dwarf Rasboras. Either one of those videos have a bunch of good info in them that's true for almost all entry-level egg scatterers. The most entry-level egg scatterers that you're going to get are going to be pseudomagills and rice fish. Maybe, yeah, that's probably it. Those are probably your most beginner level, followed by Corridoras, which aren't really egg scatterers. They're kind of like clutch layers. They lay things in like groups. Whereas egg scatterers technically just lay like a few eggs every day all over the place. Or they release a whole bunch of eggs all over the place, and it just goes all over, and that's that. Look how dark green Aquatic Arts shrimp are, man. Can't get over it. Can't wait till they start spawning. But I mean, the Danios are another really great example. Any of these Danios, zebrafish, they're the same. But I've got in those episodes, if you look them up on Celestial Pearl Danios CPDs, these guys, or on Tin Winnies, that's another one that I talk about. They're true egg scatterers. These guys, the gold ring Danios. And I've spawned all of my rare Danios now. I got all of them and all of my Nano Rasboras, from Phoenix to Strawberry, exclamation point, all of those things I've spawned over time. And I've made videos for a lot of them. So I would recommend that because it's going to be a lot more thorough than me covering it here. Do I still have Boost Lamandau Purple? I do, but it is covered in algae, honestly. It's in the bottom of the big tank over there. Alex, I was lurking and loading a dishwasher starting supper. Ginger, you're so good to me. You always, you just are. You don't need to hang around. Don't worry. Like, you're okay. We'll be okay. Alex, I broke my thumb. It is very difficult to do water changes. Can I let my algae grow crazy to help water quality? Any other tips while I heal? Several weeks to go. Okay, that's another great question. Great question tonight, guys. So I would say, ideally, you want to do water changes as much as you can, but it depends on your bio load. The best thing you could do is throw in more plants. Throw in some floating plants, some hornwort, some hornwort, water sprite, wisteria, kabamba, bacopa, things like that. Water lettuce and duckweed, really. They're all going to suck up a lot of nitrates and ammonia. And then the other thing you could do to help yourself is make sure, just clean the filters. do that. Clean the filters just lightly. Don't like wring them out really hard because you're going to get rid of a lot of the bacteria. But what you can do is you could either add a filter, or what you can do is you can make a cheap filter. And one, you could get an intake sponge for your I'll show you, for your filters. So that would be just like this, and that goes on that's what this is, goes on the stem sucking in if you've got a hang off the back or a canister, and that'll help filter a lot more. Or you can just, they also sell, I think I have one, sorry guys. Well, I'm just breaking things now. Well, I was gonna show you a box, but they sell these other sponges that you can do that with. The other thing you can do is you can get, this is one that I will make an episode on at some point, but you can get these little Tupperware containers. This has my micro worms in it, but get these little Tupperware to go disposable containers, and get a sponge that's all natural, like doesn't have any antimicrobial properties or anything like that. Just a normal, I think Trader Joe's sells them in like a 6-pack for like $5 or something. But I mean, you can find them wherever. But they sell them like dehydrated, and you add water and they expand. But you get just a sponge, can be acrylic, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you get a sponge, put it in one of those Tupperware things, and then put an air stone in the center. Like cut the sponge in half, or use 2 sponges if they fit in there. Poke a hole in it, and then poke like 5 or 6 holes on the far end, and then just put your air stone in there, and it's like a whole massive extra filter. I would do that for now if you're worried about it, because that will get you a long way. That will really help. Just having that beneficial bacteria is the main thing, and then having something to eat up that extra nitrogen and ammonia, or should I say not even let ammonia start. It's funny that you ask that question, Electrofry. Is Skookum a reference to Av or Ave? I do watch his channel. I think he's hilarious and a genius, but no, it's actually a phrase used here in the Pacific Northwest also. It is a Coast Salish word. It was used in the Hudson's Bay Trading Company when they set up Fort Vancouver up in Canada, Vancouver, BC, and then Vancouver, Washington. They had a fort, but it actually got brought into Ivy League schools. And a Skookum scholar was somebody who did really well. In the 1920s, the frat and sorority culture used that term, and they had all sorts of like weird appropriations of like, oh, he's chief this, or gave him Native American sounding names and stuff for accomplishments in school, and roles. Like the treasurer would be like war cabinet or war chest or war chief or whatever. So it was a thing that started somehow related to that. Maybe someone else can uncover the story, but ta-da. G-Man, how the discus, G-Man. Now I'm thinking of Government Man. Well, we got some old references tonight. The G-Man. The G-Men are gonna come and get you. Federal Way location still has tons of tanks left. Oh, good to know. Let's see here. Alex, what food do you feed your fry? Honestly, I like to feed them Aquarium Co-op's fry food. I feed them that. I feed them mosquito larvae. I feed them Daphnia, and I feed them baby brine shrimp. The brine shrimp hatchery that I use is called Hobby, and it's a German one. It doesn't require any electricity or lights or anything. It just requires tap water. You don't even need to dechlorinate it. Just tap water and salt, and then through an ingenious system of bevels and locking chambers, it supplies you with maybe an ounce of densely populated water of brine shrimp every day, and about 24 to 36 hours from when you start the batch. And you could get 2 of those and alternate them, and you'd have enough for probably a few hundred fish at a time every day. But really, I like to feed fry. I like to get them on to flake food as soon as I can. So I will usually try to put them into the community tank with the parents as soon as I can again, or put them in the intermediary shrimp tank, and then I'll feed flake food, and I'll try to get them to eat it, because the shrimp will clean up the mess otherwise. And when I do that, for the time that they're in there, I won't feed the shrimp any other food. They're just gonna eat what the other fish don't eat. But yeah, it's made out of like basically. There's a salmon cannery I think that he works with, maybe out of Bristol Bay or somewhere in Alaska, because salmon guts and salmon being salmon pate, salmon heads in a blender essentially, and then dehydrated is what the heart of the Aquarium Co-op Easy Fry Food is. Buy the $24. It's like a brick that's a pound of the stuff, and it should last you a really long time. The other thing I recommend is Hikari crab cuisine. I like that one for inverts and for little fish that are really picky. Sometimes they'll eat that. Other thing, crumbling up these Hikari algae wafers, spirulina mostly, and vegetable matter. There's still a good amount of protein in here, but a lot of vitamin A, E, ascorbic acid, vitamin D3, phosphorus. Yeah, so stuff that like cichlids and like corydoras and plecos are usually lacking in their diet if you're trying to feed them flake food. So I'll do that too. But also, if I'm trying to get protein into them, so if they're a meat eater or a micro predator like celestial pearl danios, or any of the micro rasboras, pretty much, that eat tiny little crustaceans and things, honestly, keep a dirty tank around. Like this tank right here, this is heaven for baby fish. These guys, I won't need to feed these baby fish. I mean, they have yolk sacs right now, but those angelfish babies with all this algae on the glass and just weird little things in the water, with the light on and getting natural light, that will feed them for their first part of their life that needs infusoria. Otherwise, I have a video on it, but for real teeny critters like pseudomagills or honestly bettas, some betta species, you need kind of green water. So what you would do is you'd set up something like a jar in a window, set up a jar in a window, add some food or a dead snail to it, and then just let some organic vegetable matter. So honestly, like a couple pieces of broccoli or a couple strips of lettuce, romaine lettuce or baby lettuce, iceberg lettuce, whatever you want to add to it, and then you just let it sit there, but in the air. You don't want to seal it completely. Thanks for hitting the like button, guys. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Oh, Ginger says I like seeing your tanks. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Ian Atkins, what's up, my brother? Zen, Ginger, you have a question. I've got 2 hurricanes headed towards us here in Houston. If we have power outage, how long can lightly planted tanks go without power realistically? Honestly, if you have no light, like if they're in a basement, I would say that 5 days is about as long as you want to let plants not have any light. Sometimes they'll make it longer. Sometimes there's some really fidgety ones like red root floaters that hate it and they'll have some problems. But I mean, your algae is gonna all be gone as long as your tanks don't get too hot. Try to keep your tanks cool. That's another thing. But I have a video called "What to Do If the Power Goes Out," or "What to Do If There's an Emergency," and your fish tanks, aquariums, and I go over that. You can wrap tanks in cardboard. You can give them some natural light. If they get any sunlight from just, like up here, I'm coming up here to show, like light like this, they'll be fine. They'll be totally fine. They may grow some algae because they're not getting enough intense light on the tank itself. Um, but without CO2, they should be fine. This hasn't had CO2 now for a month almost, I guess. Yeah, a month. Also, I can't get any males. I need some male Kohachu? Is that how they're pronounced? Kohachu? But definitely I'd get some, battery air pumps, just like Unsophisticated said. Um, but the temps, the hot temperature, yeah, exactly. Check for ammonia and nitrates. Um, your nitrates, honestly, can usually get to like 150. That's why it's on there. It's not good for the fish. It will kill them over time. But if it's a week or two, I've had fish in like 200, 300 part per million nitrate tanks, and they've made it out. I didn't know that it was that bad until, I checked thinking, yeah, everyone looks fine, and then checked it for the heck of it. Um, Yeah, toss a piece of floss in the tank. That will help too. Yep. Or if you put a sponge in the corner of the tank in an area where there's a little bit of flow. Um, Kimberly, I'm glad that some of this stuff helps. Oh yeah, USB powered air pumps. That's the other thing that Aquarium Co-op has some of those at a pretty good price too. Oh, that's what Ginger Griffs had to say right afterwards. Awesome. Thanks, Ginger. Um, let's see here. Electro Fry. Let's see here. Will air quality affect outdoor tubs, ponds, or even indoor aquariums? I have fires nearby. Luckily, evacuation orders are starting to stop near my area. The short answer is yes, it really does. The long answer is don't worry about it at the scale that you're in. The actual air that we breathe is only whatever 30% oxygen. So it's mostly nitrogen and other stuff, CO2 and NO2 and CO and sulfur and other crappy stuff. But yeah, so they don't need a ton, but it's probably not going to be that far thrown off. What's going to happen is your light is going to get blocked out, and that's no good. The other thing that can happen with fires is wood and biological debris can it is a storage container of all the heavy metals and toxins and things like that that have been in your trees and plants, fungi, and when that all burns, it goes up into the air. So it is a way to get heavy metals and things to then change state, go up with the ash, and come back down. And so sometimes ash can have things like very acidic properties. It's like how we make lye for soap is made out of charcoal and ash. So you're going to have that high carbon content anyways, and then it's basically going to make lye. So the main thing is just don't let the ash fall in the tank a lot. Other than that, you should be just fine. If you can breathe, your fish are going to be more than fine. Now, I did go over this in an episode discussing the forest fires in Australia and also in the rainforest and how much that does impact things. Lightning strikes also. I have a half hour or 45-minute discussion on how lightning strikes, encourage forest fires and things. The real reason that's a problem is because the fires then take out the trees, and then those trees, the roots, are no longer supporting the hillsides. Same with clear cut logging, and so that's when you start running into things like silt getting into the rivers. But you don't have to worry about any of that stuff, obviously, in a pond. Just worry about that ash. Other than that, you should be good. Alex, I have blue dreams that seem to have developed rusty orange lines going 1 to 2 millimeters down their rostrums, which might be like an eighth of an inch. Is this a disease or the coolest color morph ever? Rostrum is a very common place for a disease. I would have to see it. If they look like they're under the skin and they are little worms, I mean, it's kind of hard to say. The Scutellaria japonica, Scutellaria japonica. They're usually white, but there are a lot of things that attack the rostrums. That being said, there are some interesting color morphs. So if it's uniform on all of the shrimp of a certain age, then it's possible. But I would probably guess that it might be inflamed blood vessels to their rostrum, or even some sort of parasitical infection that is in that gland or one of their sensory pits in their exoskeleton on their face. And it could be that it's a red worm in there. So I would probably want to use something that kills nematodes, like Pancure or fenbendazole, flubendazole, Metroplex, something like that maybe. Let's see here. Kimberly says, I have beautiful water lilies in all my tanks. They are my favorite. I heard that they can kill nearby plants, though. I haven't noticed, but I wonder, is that true? Yeah, that is true. They will send out strangling vines, just like ivy does. Now, the main thing that they'll do is they will strangle plants and hold them down. They'll wrap around and hold them down. The worst one really is water hyacinth, especially in like Florida, Texas, southern Alabama, those areas. Those things will make these big tubers up on top of your pond or lake, and they spread very quickly, and they are very negative impact. They actually put out chemicals. I want to do out an episode on the chemical warfare plants do with each other, which is really incredible. But they actually send out things that inhibit growth in plants, and they actually send out these things called potassium ion channel blockers, which stop plants from teaming up with fungi that usually have what we call a hyphae or mycelium. It's just that white stringy stuff in soil. And almost all plants have at least one, even if you can't see it. Usually you can, though. It's the white stringy stuff. For instance, Douglas fir trees and cedar trees each have a type of fungi that helps them. It either fixes nitrogen or potassium or iron, whatever it may be, and then they usually trade sugar or glucose for it because fungi can't make glucose and sucrose and sucralose in their own system. So they'll trade them along their mycelial network through osmotic exchange with water, so it has to be hydrophilic. But yeah, how do I keep my midnight ram eggs from fungusing? I've used methylene blue and other stuff. Nothing is working. I've pulled them out and left them with their parents. They always fungus over. That's hard. I've had that same issue sometimes in some of my tanks. My advice would be to get some distilled water, add methylene blue to that, and when you when you grab the eggs from the adults, rinse them with that distilled water as best you can. The other thing, if you're desperate and nothing's working, the last ditch effort that you could try is to take about 5% hydrogen peroxide and 95% water, or even 10% hydrogen peroxide, or bleach. Hydrogen peroxide is what I suggest more, though, and literally put that in a bottle, shake it up, and dip those eggs in there for maybe 20 seconds and see if that prevents it, because that should kill everything on the outside. But yeah, any tips for breeding Pseudomagil luminatus or neon blue eyes, neon red blue eyes, or Pascals? Yeah, I have videos on that. So check those out. Definitely check out my luminatus video, my what's the other one? Pseudomagil furcata, Pseudomagil luminatus. I've got videos on those. So try that stuff, guys. I gotta go because my phone says it's gonna die. Apparently I'm at 7%. Go figure. I guess we had so much fun it sucked the life out of my phone. Alright, guys. Well, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're taking care of your critters and, of course, the people around you. And take care of yourself, because if you don't do that, you can't do the other stuff I mentioned. If you guys still want more of me, you have a problem. I'm a problem. You've had enough of me for the day. Leave now. No, feel free to check out my playlists. I've got a lot of playlists put together, a lot of questions people ask. Search on my channel. I've got like 500 and some episodes now over 3 or 4 years. I just never blew up as a big channel. I don't dress up. This is my formal attire. So and I speak how I feel, and I feel how I speak, and I am what I am, and I is what I is. So I don't know, whatever. My point is the channel's been around a while. Didn't blow up, so there's these videos that you kind of have to hunt for. But if you know the words you want, look for them once you go to my channel. Look within my channel for those things and put in a species name. Put in breeding fish, or fish for profit, or shrimp for profit, or how to cellular plant this or that, or guppy genetics, or I don't know, whatever. Take a look on the site. Also, there's a couple playlists. There's the most played stuff, and then there is the best of. There's plant lists. There's unboxings. There's species profiles. There's the bigger picture, which is like socioeconomic stuff. Kind of the whole, I guess the special part about this channel is when we go over things that seemingly have nothing to do with aquariums, but do. And last of all, Patreon still, if you want, join. I'm going to try to be giving away more stuff. And if you have ideas, I want to try to cite sources, like I said there. It's just I haven't done it because there haven't been many new people or anything. And the people that are already there, I guess I just am taking advantage of you. And I feel like an asshole. I'm sorry. But I love you. And if you want to name my fish, if you need dibs on something or need help with something, really do. Take me up on it. I've said it to other people, and people like Jack Blackman, who won the drawing today for the $100 gift card. He's somebody. Ginger Graves, she's somebody that we talk. So if you're on Patreon, I mean, I can try to talk to you otherwise, but I only have so much time. But if people need help at 3 in the morning, I don't sleep that well, and I'm up a lot, and I'm kind of kooky. So I'm there to help, and that's one of the services if you want to support the channel through Patreon, is you can hit me up whenever, and a lot of people have my cell number. Someday that will come back to haunt me, I'm sure. But until then, goodbye! Alright, guys. I will talk to you later. Have a wonderful night. And let's stop dividing one another, and let's unite. And just love nature. Love each other. Take a breath. Enjoy your tanks. And I'll talk to you guys later. Oh, and check out my Teespring. There's more art and more styles of shirts and iPhone cases. Capitalism, yay, buy. Buy it. bye to you, and bye. Have a great night.